Hi, I'm Jeannie. Welcome to Mimi Craft, your home for all things creative and DIY on a budget. I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. Well, hello everyone. It's definitely been a while. My gallbladder wanted out in a hurry and I obliged, but I'm all better now, feeling great and ready to bring you more content. If you like what you see today, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a like. Now on with the projects. The first project is a wall decor piece. It'll require 2 boxes of tumbling tower blocks. I will leave a list of all supplies needed for all of these projects into the description box below. You'll need wood glue, hot glue, and a glue stick for this project. Start with 95 tumbling tower blocks. You'll be gluing them together 5 wide end to end by 19 tall. If you look closely, you can see that I only did 18 rows in the video. Regretted it later, so go ahead and do 19. When this is completely dried, take your napkin and you're going to be splitting the plies. One of the ways you can do this is just to kind of pull it apart. If you're having any trouble, you can take a piece of tape, one on each side, and that will help to begin separating them. And then you just pull them apart very, very gently. You're going to be decoupaging this napkin to the tower blocks. There's lots of ways to do this, but I'm going to show you a way that really kept all the wrinkles away. So I put a glue stick, and I did just 1 row at a time, made sure it was completely covered, and then placed my napkin on there, and then rubbed it down very, very thoroughly. Starting in the middle, and then moving both down and to the sides as I went. Adjust the napkin as you go to avoid wrinkles. The idea here is to make sure that all the little lines and separations of the blocks actually show through. Typically when you decoupage, you'll want to paint the surface you're going to be decoupaging just so that things don't show through. But I like the way the wood looked through this napkin, so I just did it right on top of the wood. I decided to wrap the sides with decoupage paper as well. You can see I was already experimenting on the back of this, but I did the exact same thing. I put the glue stick on all of the wood and then gently folded the napkin over and then pressed it down, making sure I got all those little grooves and lines to show. Use scissors to cut out the corners. Sandpaper will remove the excess napkin. It's the easiest and most efficient way to do this. Next, seal your project on all sides. I used matte Mod Podge. I thinned it out with a little bit of water, just made it flow onto the napkin a little bit easier and really helps with wrinkles. This is how to repair a tear. You see that little raw wood there? Tear off a little piece of napkin. Sorry, first put the Mod Podge on. Then tear off a little piece of napkin, hopefully close to the color family of the area. It doesn't need to be very exact. And then just put it on like that. You're going to Mod Podge over it. And then gently tear off the extra napkin tissue, whatever you're using. And nobody will be able to see that at all. When it's completely dry, add the hanger. I chose to use a sawtooth hanger, and then I always put a block at the bottom to offset the bottom so that it hangs straight on the wall. And this is how mine turned out. I love how the wood grain actually shows through the decoupage paper. I thought it'd be fun to be able to use this as a picture frame. So I took these tiny little clothespins, and I bought these at Dollar Tree, and glued them on. I put them on the picture first so I knew exactly where to glue them. And now I can change photos and just use this as a picture frame. Now we're going to make a picture frame for the project we just completed. Start with 36 blocks and glue them together as seen on screen. When these block sets are completely dry, you're going to be stacking them, centering each layer in the middle of the layer underneath. 3, 2, and 1. You'll be making 4 of these. This will be assembled as a rectangle, 2 long ends, 2 short ends. Just glue them as you see on screen with wood glue. I noticed that one of my sides wasn't sitting flush after I glued it together, so I took it off, cleaned off the glue, and then sanded it down so that all the blocks were the exact same level, and this took care of the problem. When the glue has dried, use hot glue to glue the picture to the back of the frame. I did a dry fitting and then used a pencil to make marks so I would know exactly where to place the picture when I was ready to glue it. That's my head. I laid down a bead of hot glue to reinforce the entire picture. This is how mine turned out. I think the raw wood really complements the picture. I put hangers on in both directions so I could turn the picture around whenever I wanted. It I wanted to see how this frame was going to look painted. So I mixed my own color. It's a peach color. It looks very pink as I put it on, but it dried a good color peach. I mixed pink, yellow, and white to achieve this color. And this is how it turned out. I absolutely love it. I think it's really pretty. This will be another wall decor piece, this time square with a different decorative napkin. Glue together 114 tumbling tower blocks, 6 wide by 19 high, as seen on the video. The napkin I chose for this DIY did not look good directly over the wood, so I painted my base with white chalk paint. This is Waverly White. We're decoupaging this set of blocks, and this is the napkin that I chose. Follow the steps as the previous DIY. You'll need 12 blocks of 6 glued end to end. The rows will be glued on top of one another at roughly the halfway point of each row. It's probably easiest just to watch the video. It should look like this, like 3 steps. The sides are going to be glued together in the pattern you see here so that it makes a square. We're actually going to be gluing the back side with craft sticks. I bought these at Walmart. You'll want to use very generous amounts of hot glue and make sure that the craft sticks overlap on one another. This will give it strength. Make sure that the craft sticks are centered so that they don't show from the front, and make sure you have craft sticks that aren't too wide. I think these are about 1 inch wide, but I'm not absolutely sure. Place a heavy-duty hanger. I'm using a sawtooth, and then a block for a counterbalance so that this hangs straight on the wall. As in the last DIY, use copious amounts of hot glue to glue your picture to the frame. If you prefer, you can put the hanger and the counterbalance on the actual picture itself instead of the frame. It's stealth. And here's the result. I wanted to see what this one would look like painted, so I chose Waverly chalk paint in the color Celery. As you see here, I filled in the cracks as best I could with the chalk paint. I used Rub and Buff Antique Gold Wax to highlight some of the shapes and edges of the blocks. I just used my finger and rubbed it on and just did it as much as I liked until I got a look that I was happy with. I think this step is what really made this project a little bit more shabby chic. And here's the outcome. I love all the color and texture. I think this would really be beautiful in a girl's bedroom. Next, we'll be making a sconce. Glue 54 blocks together, side by side, 9 wide by 6 tall. Made one bamboo ring, the smaller of the two in this package that I purchased at Dollar Tree. Cut the ring exactly in half, and there's my head for your enjoyment. I used a craft saw to cut this, but a utility knife should work. The bamboo is not all that strong. You just need to make quite a few passes. Wire cutters might be a good option as well. You'll be making the same kind of side as you did for the very first picture frame. 6 blocks glued end to end in grouping of 3, 2, and 1, and then stacked as you see here on the video. You'll need 3 of these. You'll need 2 sets of blocks glued together this way. Add glue to the middle of the double row of 6 and put a single row right on top. The last row of 6 will be placed so that its edge is on the center of this row. So those outer edges will meet up at the top, the lower edge will be in the middle. This is how it should look from the side. I decided to paint all these pieces with Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. This took 2 coats of paint. Did you know that you can sand chalk paint? I always like to sand any drips or mistakes that I made when I used chalk paint. I use rechargeable under cabinet lighting for my sconces. I would not recommend these because they don't have a remote, but I do put them on with command strips because I use them over and over. The command strips stick really well to the light, but they will not stick to the blocks, so I use hot glue to attach them to the sconce. Mark the center of each hoop half with a pencil. This will be a landmark for gluing on your blocks. I found that a tape measure works best. On the 3 full block towers, mark halfway up the first block on both the top and the bottom. This is where the hoop's going to be placed. You'll need one of these flexible cutting mats from Dollar Tree. Use a block tower to mark where you're going to be trimming your mat. You're also going to want to cut off either end because of those round edges. Here I'm using the wrong measurement for the width of my chopping mat. I had previously measured the outside of the ring when I needed to measure the inside of the ring. You'll see me make a correction in just a little bit. Transfer your markings from your tower to the chopping mat so you know where the ring's going to need to be glued on. And this is where I realized my measurement was wrong. Measure twice, cut once. Connect those markings to make a line so you know exactly where to glue your half rings. The best glue to use for this is hot glue. Just glue them on a little bit at a time. I found these little clips from Dollar Tree very helpful. Apparently, I'm very proud of my head. Be sure to remove any excess hot glue while it's still warm. If you miss a spot and you need to remove some of the hot glue, you can just use a hairdryer to warm it back up and you should be able to get it off pretty easily. Fortunately, I remembered to add a hanger before I put the shade on. I used a sawtooth hanger. This is pretty heavy, so that's what I'm going to recommend you use. And then of course a block at the bottom to counterbalance. Again, use hot glue to attach the shade to the base. You should definitely add the hot glue a little at a time. Don't do what I did. I ended up having to go back and glue it a whole lot more. Here I'm making my center markings a little more clear. I wanted to create more surface area for the glue, so I marked the center of the piece vertically and glued doubled up craft sticks down the center. Make sure you glue them in the center end to end so they don't interfere with gluing down the half rings. Add a generous amount of hot glue on those craft sticks and use all of your markings to center this tower, and then place it on your project. Lay the end pieces on their sides as shown so that you're able to glue them flush with the back of the project. Put all of the glue on the craft sticks as you did with that center tower. Run a bead of hot glue on the back to reinforce it. Add some hot glue to the front so that this tower can lay flat. Repeat for the other side. The last two towers will be placed directly in between the towers you already glued. I definitely eyeballed this. You might want to measure and mark. I took this opportunity to touch up any spots that I missed with the original painting. I added rub and buff to this piece as well. And here it is. I wish my camera showed just how beautiful this looks at night. It just doesn't do it justice. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section which one of these projects is your favorite. Until part 2, bye!